please explain your hiatus from SNL so that we get the straight up story from you. What was that all about?
I never really knew, Patrick. I've never known why it happened exactly. I don't know. It was a big shocker. You know, every summer it would happen that we were supposed to find out, I think, like at the end of June, whether our contract had been renewed for the following season. And it was never at the end of June. So we would usually hear from our agents like, Lauren hasn't decided yet. So is it, can you just wait for a few more weeks or whatever. And of course, like, what are you going to say? Like, no, I need an answer now. And so that had happened, as usual. And I was like in touch with Dratch and a few other people, I think. And, we just thought, well, we're all going to go back on. There's no reason to think we're not. And then I got a call from my manager saying, buddy, I don't know what to tell you. They're not going to bring you back. And I was like, wow. I mean, it just, it was a pretty big hit. And you immediately realize how much of your own sense of self-worth is wrapped up in this idea of being a Saturday Night Live cast member,
Right.
Thankfully, I had a few people go to bat for me. Will Ferrell and Catan apparently went in and talked to Lorne. And then a writer, T-Shawn Shannon, wrote this scathing piece where he really took Lorne and the head producers to task. It was set in a Benihana, and I was the chef. I had been the chef at Benihana, an amazing chef, but he had gotten fired, and everybody was asking, why did you fire him? He was great. He did this, and he did that, and what? So that was the sketch, and they did it. They read it at the table, from what I've heard, to crickets, because it was like fucking pointing the finger hard at everybody that involved with me getting fired or letting me be fired or whatever. So, but I never really knew why. At one point, I heard it was an NBC executive that I sort of knew who didn't like me, but I also heard it was budget cuts. I don't know. I never got a straight answer, and I didn't dig too hard to try to find out what it was, because I don't know that I really wanted to know.
Why did I? Yeah, exactly. That's not the one you want to find out. Honestly, from the most painful part.
Yeah.
So, how long were you off the show, and how did you come back?
Well, almost immediately after getting booted off, I started to hear. I went, actually, I think it was Jerry Collins, bringing Jerry up again, his wedding to Lori Nassau, who was a writer on the show. And at their wedding, I think it was Will who said to me that, or maybe it was Tim Meadows, I'm not sure, but either Will or Tim said, I heard that the door's not completely shut with that. So, just stand by. And then I started to hear the same thing from my manager. And I'd given up my apartment, but I'd kept all my stuff in New York in storage, thinking, oh, okay, maybe I'm going to go back. But it just kept being this, he says he might still bring you back, blah, blah, this up and down, this, and finally I was just like, fuck, I'd already moved back. I'd already had a place back in LA that I'd rented. And I was like, I got to just move my stuff back. I can't live in this limbo for this many months,
Yeah.
So moved my stuff back to LA, and then shortly thereafter they rehired me. So I was off. This was, it was my fourth season. I missed the first 12 episodes of a 20-episode season. But, I was very happy to go back. I was thrilled to go back, and, it set me back on my heels because I felt like I was kind of, had a lot more confidence at that point, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh no, don't have too much confidence because this might happen, so.
It's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show, Patrick Labyorteaux. He's the one you gotta know.